Today we are taking a look at the Annie Christmas fighter from the Unmatched games. Annie Christmas is one of the fighters from Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze. This is the set that has both the traditional Unmatched in it as well as the new cooperative version. It has 4 heroes: Annie Christmas, Golden Bat, Dr. Jill Trent, and Nikola Tesla. So who is Annie Christmas? Well, Annie Christmas is not Santa Claus's wife. I know, that's what I thought, but no. Annie Christmas is an individual from African American lore from Louisiana. Basically, she was a keelboat captain that worked on the river. She was really tall and really strong. She had a pearl necklace, and every time a man challenged her and she beat him, she added another pearl to the necklace, and she has a lot of pearls. And of course, she has her love, Charlie, who was a gambler on the river, but it's okay because he got a Derringer, so he is ranged. Annie Christmas is a melee fighter with a health of 14, with Charlie, her ranged sidekick, with a health of 8. They are both 2 move. Her special ability is Necklace of Pearls. Add +2 to the value of Annie's attacks if she has less health than the defender. So when she goes up against anybody who has more health and is stronger than her, she is punching heavier. And Charlie is ranged, and ranged sidekicks are always awesome. We're going to take a look at the artwork on this here, which we'll also see is one of the artwork from one of the cards. We will start off with some of Annie's cards here. This one is an attack of 5 with 3 copies Lanyap, which I'm told means something a little bit extra or special. An attack of 5, immediately deal up to 2 damage to Annie to draw that many cards. This may cause her special ability to apply. We can get damage and get some more cards there, but this can also make her ability apply, which means that if she goes into the fight with like the same health or just like 1 over the opposing fighter, since this is immediately, she will take that and she will be taking that damage before combat, and so that 2 damage could drop her down to make this ability kick in, and then she ends up punching heavier and ends up adding 2 to the value of that card. You also get to draw some cards out of it, which can be good. Keep your hands to yourself. This is a versatile of 3. After combat, move each fighter in the combat up to 2 spaces. So it just lets you move people around. A versatile, a defense of 3 is all right. If this were to be an attack of 5, it could be pretty good. Striking Beauty. I've got the promotional foil card here. This is a versatile of 1. Deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter. If you won the combat, deal 2 damage instead. So this is kind of like a damage regroup. They can be really good against some 1 health sidekicks and the like to clear them out. But also remember the ability, if you were to attack with this as a 3, your chances of winning get higher. Mississippi Queen, a defense of 2. Immediately, damage cannot reduce Annie's health below 1 this turn. Okay, 2 big things to throw onto this. Number 1, damage. Not combat damage, damage, which means combat damage and effects. So any damage cannot drop her below 1. The other thing is this turn. That is not this combat, that is this turn. So if you were to throw this on a first action or against but there's someone with action gains like Bruce or Raptors or Genie, or against someone like Bloody Mary who can just have a third action, you can drop this in there and basically just make them not be able to do anything to Annie. They can drop you down to 1, but they cannot defeat you, essentially. This is immediately, so that's 3 cards there that you have in your hand that just stop you from being defeated. They cannot defeat you that turn. They just have to give up. They can't even like scheme you to death or anything. So that's really very strong. A few more pearls. A scheme. Deal 2 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to Annie. That's just like 6 auto damage. I'm in the one fighter. It could be more than that against others. So definitely very good there. Love the auto damage. Captain's orders. Place Annie in any empty space in her zone. Then place another friendly fighter in an empty space in Annie's zone. Gain 1 action. Well, of course, Charlie is a friendly fighter. But in 2v2 or co-op, you have your other teammates and you can move them around and you can do this. You can make this a very interesting way to be able to move Annie around and also position some others. And there's also someone else in the box who likes to be moved around without maneuvering so that he can get a +2. Oh. But really a very strong scheme there as long as you still have Charlie or some other teammates still around. Speaking of Charlie, let's take a look at this. Bottom dealing. This is going to be a attack of 3. Reveal the bottom card of your deck. Increase the value of this card by the boost value of the revealed card. Then put the revealed card on the top or the bottom of the deck. So it just lets you like grab the card off the bottom and just boost this thing up. So this will be more than a 3. And you gotta remember Charlie's ranged. So, you know, this is most of the time if it's not getting fainted, this is throwing out a 4 at least. The turn and the river. 2 copies. Reversal of 2. After combat, draw 2 cards. Not a particularly strong card, but it is a little bit of a defense for Charlie. It can draw you some cards and get your hand up, so that can help you out. Slick Talker. We're getting into the Annies now. A defense of 3. Immediately, Annie and Charlie may swap spaces. If they do, your other fighter is now the defender. This is just a way that if one of them is getting low on health, you can swap the other one in there and let them take some damage. So once again, we got like another 2 cards here that can make it where they're not able to really put damage into Annie, with Mississippi Queen already being 3 copies that pretty much just stop damage from happening. Of course, you do have to pay attention to the positioning on this because your opponent can still find a way to get to Annie if you play that at the wrong time. But it will stop at least that 1 combat. Getting into this card, which has 4 copies, Better Together. Reversal of 4. After combat, if your fighter is adjacent to a friendly fighter, your fighter and each friendly fighter adjacent to them recover 1 health. So this is a good way for you to give either Annie or Charlie some health, and also all friendly fighters that are adjacent to them. And once again, friendly fighters include not only these, but also in 2v2 and co-op. Other fighters, you can potentially heal fighters that do not have healing in their deck. So this can be very good for you. Long Shot. Reversal of 3. If the opposing fighter is not adjacent to your fighter, this card's value is 5 instead. So this has basically 2 good uses here. Number 1, it's good for Charlie to be able to attack with because Charlie can be ranged, and so he can hit from range and not be adjacent to him and turn this up to a 5. It's also good for either Charlie or Annie if you are up against someone else that is ranged, because this can be a 5 defense against ranged fighters, which can be, once again, very, very strong. And of course, Annie could always turn this into just a blank 5 to throw at someone, which is with her ability, which is, you know, not a bad option, honestly. And lastly, quite a pair, versatile of 3. Immediately, you may reveal 2 cards from your hand with the same name. If you do, cancel all effects on your opponent's card. Now, we saw that she does not have any traditional feints in her deck. So you got to have 2 cards of the same type in your hand to reveal. Now, you reveal just means you're just showing them. You're not discarding them. Now, reveal means you are letting your opponent see that you have them in your hand, so they're going to know that you have both of those cards. But it does let you cancel. This saying you may means that if there aren't any effects on it that you're particularly interested in canceling, you don't have to reveal the cards even if you have them in hand. So we can see that Annie can be very strong, particularly against fighters that have more health than her. At 14, a lot of fighters are going to start off with more health than her. Honestly, most of them will. As you get in later in the game, it could vary. In the cooperative mode, the villains, if you have 2 or more players, will always start off with a lot more health than Annie. So pretty much early in the game, you want her to go in and start punching the villains because she gets that +2 off, and that's really going to do a lot there. And Charlie, as we can see, there's a lot. He's got some good cards, and there's a lot of innies in here. Charlie can put in some work, honestly, and at 8 health, he's actually a pretty strong sidekick as sidekicks go. So between the 2 of them, they can really do a lot. You just need to get off Annie's ability while you can against people. And also we will see the cards that let her stay down there at 1 health is really very important for Annie, because you can keep her down at like 1 health, having less health than the other one, and just stay at that. So you can keep her around that way. But yeah, she can be pretty strong. So if you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up and a like. You can go down into the comments section and let me know what you think of all of this down there. And you can also subscribe to my channel so you can catch all the videos that I post so you don't miss anything. This is Poindexter G to the tabletop, and we'll see you around next time.